안녕하십니까, 샤큐입니다. 자, 지난번에 이어서 그 화가 보겔이 셜록한테 무언가를 보내줬대요. 요 상자 같은데 한번 보도록 할게요. 안 열리네. 자, 어이씨, 뭐야, 저기로 열리네. 오, 해골이다.
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar.
Did you just remember something?
Yes, a room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock. So,
누구야?
you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of
아,
my house.
셜록의 형이죠.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare you?
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything. I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation. You know I will find out eventually.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and move on from her passing.
The consequences of one's actions determines what is right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. After leaving Cordona, Sherlock, you had a normal childhood. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man. You have so much potential, so much to offer society.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, about you, and about myself. I feel unstable because of you. Your actions were not justified. Lying never is.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal as the international. It is time you come to accept that some things are bigger than yourself.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just an ego trip. You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes and ears everywhere. The fact it helps the nation is incidental, because all you care about is yourself.
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you weren't so damn stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only here for you.
그래픽이 좀 이상한지 뒤에 집이 계속 깜빡이죠, 저거. 좀 거슬리네. 그래픽 오류인 것 같아요.
Come on, Sherry. Let's go outside. Wait. Did you hear that? Come here, Sherry.
You call this progress? Charlatan, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
So there was a quarrel between them.
아무래도 셜록의 형은 의사를 믿지 못했던 것 같습니다. 아무래도 나아지는 기미가 없었기 때문이겠죠.
Sherry, look! We've got a parcel here. Hurry up and let's see what's inside.
누군가가 또 이거를 또 몰래 놓고 갔는데 이게 또 보겔이네. 이 보겔이란 친구 참 의심스럽네. 자, 옷을 입고 오래요.
An invitation that comes with a mask. We can't
자,
miss
새로운
this,
사건이네요. 제물로 바쳐진 양. 자, 옷을 갈아입고 가보도록 하죠. 이게 무슨 옷이지? 어둠의 왕자. 어둠의 왕자라는 옷이네요. 얼굴 마스크. 아이, 뭐야 이게. 나한테 이딴 걸 줘. 만치오스 저택. 여기에 지금 보겔이 있는데 보겔이 이 안에 있겠죠. 한번 만나러 가볼게요.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy.
많은 사람들이 초대가 됐네요. 다들 가면 쓰고 있네요.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
어떻게 바로 알아보지? 가면 쓰고 있는데?
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
지금 마약하라는 건가? 싫어.
I am perfectly capable of coping with myself without medical assistance.
Then I shall press you on it no further. But please do not refuse my gift. Take it with you as a souvenir of this special night.
Souvenir of what, exactly? But, all right, if only to put the matter to bed.
And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
자, 요쪽이 재단실 같죠? 요쪽으로 들어가면 왜 이렇게 음침해, 재단실이? 아, 뭐야. 또 죽어 있어.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
이게 뭔 일이래. 아, 보겔은 알고선 보낸 건가, 나를?
This crude tattoo partially covers as slave branding.
여기 칼 있고요.
This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance.
이야, 머리에 뭔가 맞았어. 맞은
Blunt
것도
force
있네요.
trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
상처.
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart.
정확하게 심장을 찔렀대요.
This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
뭔가 의식을 치른 듯한. 그렇죠.
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to
여기
remove
누울
it.
때까지 정신이 있었다는 거네요. 뭐야, 깜짝아.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some
얘
attendees to get
갑자기
a little
여기 왜 맞다 온다
exuberant.
그랬었지.
It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things
지금
have
올 줄
gotten out of
몰랐네.
hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
여기가 밀실인데 그럼 열쇠를 가지고 있는 사람만 출입이 가능한 거네요. 젖은 손자국.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
젖은 손자국. 옷을 가져갔네요. 그럼 어딘가 옷이 있을 텐데.
The pitcher is empty but with puddles around it.
물 웅덩이가 있다.
Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
손을 씻었어요. 손을. 자, 그러면은 옷을 얻다가 버려뒀을 텐데.
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the blood stains.
찾았다. 사건을 재구성해보죠. 좋았어.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
자, 추론을 한번 해보죠. 사망 당시 상황. 그래요. 파비오 열쇠가 있었어요. 그 안에. 근데 잠겼다가 열렸어요. 파비오의 열쇠는 재단실 안에 있었어요. 그럼 바깥에서 열쇠로 다시 닫았어야 되는데, 그럼 열쇠가 파비오 거 말고 또 다른 열쇠가 또 있다는 거예요? 그 다른 열쇠를 가지고 있는 사람이 용의자죠. 자, 그리고 그쵸, 연출된 거죠. 살인을 숨기려고 연출한 거다. 또 다른 게 있나? 이게 겹치네. 의식 도중에 살해당했다. 아니에요. 재물은 아닌 것 같아요. 왜냐면 여기는 실질적으로 그런 사람들이 모이는 게 아니고 쇼를 보러 온 거니까 연극 같은 거 뭐 이런 것도 할 거 아니에요? 쇼니까.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
만치오스 씨가 열쇠를 줬다. 보겔한테 열쇠를 줬단 말이죠. 만치오스가. 일단 만치오스를 만나야 될 것 같아요.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
거기서 두 명이 더 있네요. 열쇠 가진 사람이.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
어디 폭발했나? 폭발 소리였죠. 폭발 소리.
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
어? 왜? 왜? 이게 뭐야? 이거 뚝배기 깬다. 아, 이 경찰에 체포되는 거군요. 아, 이 모임이 합법적이지가 않나 봐요. 합법적인 모임이 아니라서 그런가? 누가 신고했네. 누가 신고한 거지? 아, 일단 음악이 흐르고 있는데 이 음악은 사실 저작권이 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 제가 다른 음악으로 대체하겠습니다. 아시겠죠? 아, 어쨌든 잡혔어. 또 왜 이렇게 우울해 보이냐, 주인공?
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
어머니를 안 해?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
아, 용의자들이 이 안에 있고 신문을 해가지고 증거를 모으나봐요. 그렇게 해서 범인을 색출하는 것 같습니다. 이 사람 저 사람 막 물어봐야 되네. 알겠습니다. 자, 일단 지금 가지고 있는 걸로만 한번 쭉 볼게요. 집사장이고요. 자, 핀체티. 그렇죠. 집사장이라는 사람도 용의자에 들어가야죠. 그 사람도 용의자예요. 오케이.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
자, 이거는 이제 경찰들이 압수한 증거품들이거든요. 한번 천천히 한번 보도록 할게요. 이거는 파비오가 보낸 편지네요. 파비오는 죽은 피해자죠. 근데 파비오가 보겔한테 이런 편지가 들어있었네요. 자, 이거는 누구 거지?
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
열쇠네요, 열쇠.
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. That's not for bedtime reading.
이거 뭐 볼 데가 없는데? 밑에 있다.
This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
자, 사랑의 힘, 피와 만드레이크. 마티스타 건가 보네요. 마티스타의 증거품에서 나온 거고요.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
뭐 부활, 의식 같은 거를 알려주는 책인가?
Her key to the altar room.
재단실 열쇠.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
머리카락과 손톱이 있대요.
Werner's personal sketchbook. Thank you, officer.
좋아요. 여기까지. 중요한 건 편지가 있었어요. 편지. 파비오의 편지.
So, the police found a letter from Fabio in your pocket.
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities.
밖에 나갈 수는 없고 이 안에서 계속 증언들로만 이루어진 추론을 해야 돼요.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds. You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
자, 파비오라는 그 피해자한테만 편애를 줬던 모양인가 봐요. 자, 이제 마티스타한테 가보겠습니다.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
I thought your body was...
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
이 여자는 범인이 아닌 것
Do you
같죠?
practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
마티스타한테는 뭐 얻어낼 게 없는 것 같아요. 얘가 했다는 걸로 그 꾸미려고 한 짓일 수도 있으니까.
Good day,
이 사람이
Mr. Manchios.
만치오스네요.
I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Vernus, friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first. You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
파비오를 굉장히 많이 생각하는 것 같아요, 이 사람. 이야, 많이 모았다. 이거 조합합시다, 이거. 만치우스는 의심스러울 정도로 깨끗하다. 씻는 절차가 있다. 오케이, 나왔어요. 타락한 행위를 위해 정성 들여 자기 자신을 준비했다. 오케이. 마티스타의 멍은 손님들 때문이다. 그래요. 범인은 몸을 닦았단 말이죠. 그렇죠. 행위를 준비했다. 만치오스는 살인을 한 이후 몸을 닦았다. 자, 용의자니까 만치오스가 범인이다 생각하고 한번 저걸로 해볼게요. 살인범은 몸을 닦았다랑 이거랑 이어지네? 아, 맞다. 신발에 피자국이 있었죠? 근데 저거랑 안 맞네? 이렇게 하면은 맞아 떨어지고요. 이렇게 하면 안 맞아 떨어지고. 일단 요대로 냅둬 볼게요. 나는 만치오스가 너무 의심되기 때문에. 의식을 행했을 수도 있다. 약간 오컬트적인 그런 거에 많이 심취돼 있었죠? 근데 저것도 아닌 것 같아요. 왠지 그렇게 꾸민 것 같은데, 누군가가. 자, 보겔, 뭐지? 때문이다. 이거 손님들 때문이다로 할게요. 아닐 거야. 파비오랑 몸싸움을 할 그게 아니죠. 둘이 아주 친한 사이고. 자, 또 있나? 또 있을까 모르겠네요. 이건 아닐 테고 당연히 안 이어질 것 같고요. 이거 이어진다. 그쵸, 우연히 피를 밟았다. 그렇죠, 이게 맞는 것 같아요. 사건 현장에 잠깐 들어갔을 거 아니에요. 그러고 나서 바로 경찰에 신고를 한 거죠.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
자, 새로운 증언이에요. 그 만치오스한테 쓴 편지라는 거죠.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
근데 그게 보겔 주머니에 있었던 거죠? 그럼 누군가가 보겔 주머니에 넣었다는 건가? 한번 해볼까요? 보겔은 편지 때문에 붙잡혔어요, 경찰한테. 덮어 씌우려고. 나왔어. 잔뜩 취해 편지를 가져갔다. 만치오스가 편지를 몰래 넣어두었다. 그럴 가능성이 있죠. 둘이 같이 있었으니까요. 오, 나왔다. 오, 나왔다. 야, 이거네. 만치오스가 살인범이다. 야, 그러네요. 꾸며냈다. 치정범죄. 아닌 것 같아요. 도망가려고 했었죠. 파비오가 이제 더 이상 너무 부담된다 이거죠. 하지만 만치오스는 파비오를 좋아했어요. 그런데 파비오가 도망가려고 하니까 만치오스가 죽인 거죠. 오케이. 교수형.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
The young performer played with your emotions. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You struck him, and then you staged the ritual. You planted the letter in Vogel's pocket and attempted to set up Matista.
What poppycock? Sherlock, stop this game now.
There is no stop word, Mr. Manchios. Relax and enjoy it. I'll pass the remainder of this case to Constable Oswald. He'll know what to do with you.
좋아, 난 여기까지 하겠어. 이 뒤는 이제 경찰들이 알아서 할 겁니다. 사건 끝. 집에 가야지.
I have a name for you. Kurt Manchios.
Is that so? The master of the Sabbath?
The man himself. Mr. Manchios couldn't stand to lose control over his lover. A deadly revenge that deserves a proper sentence. I have all the evidence to charge him.
A degenerate and a murderer. I'll make a name thanks to that for sure. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones, including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
자, 받았네요. 사건 보고서. 어머니의 사건 보고서죠.
Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry,
John, I always listen to you.
you don't have to do this.
얘
Don't
눈이
have
왜
to
이렇게
go
빨개?
through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it.
그래픽 오류인 것 같아요. 눈이 왜
Angry
이렇게
like a fly
빨갛지?
at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain. And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona, so many others we could help. There is no coming back from this.
이걸 끝내야만 해. 이게 이제 엔딩 보는 것 같아요.
John, my animal, my brother, there is nothing more important in this moment than this truth. I know you fear for me, but my path was set long ago. I can no more step off it than I can ask the avalanche to roll back uphill.
Just please be careful, Sherry. I love you.
Quite. Come on. We'll go together.
자, 이제 어머니의 사건을 한번 파헤쳐 봅시다. 뭐가 나올까요, 이제? 엄마? 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 엄마 어디로 사라졌다. 이번엔 여기 계시네. 엄마? 엄마 가지마. 엄마?
Don't go, Mother. Wait.
엄마?
I'm waiting for you.
이번엔 가지 마세요.
Coming, Mother.
또 사라지셨네.
This was for my mother, wasn't it? I remember how we came to the garden for a breath of fresh air.
이거 휠체어 끌고 이거 휠체어 내가 끄는 거다.
Take me to my flowers, Sherry. They must already be in bloom.
As you wish.
예, 알겠어요, 어머니. 제가 잘 끌고 가겠습니다.
I bet you missed the fresh air, didn't you?
Terribly. The sun is far brighter than I remember. But I like it.
We can walk
편하시죠?
each day from now on, if you want.
That would be wonderful.
편하시죠? 앞으로 이렇게 자주 가요.
Just look at them. The stars of the earth. Even the sky must be jealous of their beauty.
Indeed.
Let's visit your father's tree. It grows so fast, just like you.
We could even build a tree house in it.
Yes, Sherry.
자, 이렇게 한 바퀴 돌면 집에 다 오는 거겠죠? 집에 다 와가네. 집에 들어갑시다, 이제. 어머니.
Speaking of your father, could you call him out, please?
아버지. 그러게, 아버지 돌아가셨는데.
I'm sorry.
어떡해.
He passed away. He's gone.
No, he's not.
I'm telling the
엄마, 왜 그래요?
truth. Did you forget again?
No, don't you dare say such things.
뭐야.
You are a liar like all the others.
Mother!
Don't call me that. You aren't fooling me.
No! Mum, it hurts!
My son would never lie.
Mum, stop!
Who are you? Reveal yourself.
Please stop! It's me, Sherlock!
You are not my Sherry. Give me my stuff. I can't stop you.
어머니가 정신병이 심하셔서 아버지가 돌아가신 것도 이렇게 인지를 못하고 셜록을 때렸었구나. 이거 뭐지? 근데 내가 봤을 때 물속에 빠진 그 어머니를 살리려고 이게 목에 이렇게 상처를 내고 기도를 연 걸로 제가 그렇게 느꼈거든요. 그래서 저 의사는 범인이 아닌 것 같아요. 근데 형이, 그 셜록의 형이 그 의사를 감옥에 가뒀죠. 바로 이거 여는 거네요. 바로 이거다. 자, 추론을 바로 할 수 있네요. 정신질환. 정원에서의 어머니가 나를 죽이려 했다. 맞아요. 연못에 제가 빠졌었죠. 마이크로프트가 의사를 목격했다. 오케이. 죽였다고 비난했다. 아닌데. 아닌 것 같아, 제가 봤을 땐. 차. 릭터 박사가 만든 약이죠. 약의 부작용이 뭐 있고, 뭐 이상하게 만들었다, 뭐 이런 것 같은데. 부작용도 있었겠지만, 내성도 있을 것 같고, 이거 헷갈리네요, 이거. 아무거나 골라도 상관없을 것 같긴 한데. 자, 부작용이 있을 수도 있으니까 부작용으로 갈게요. 그래요, 이게 중요한 것 같아요. 엄마는 익사했다. 그래요, 엄마는 익사한 거예요. 익사하고 의사가 살리려고 이렇게 한 거겠죠. 그럼 이렇게 해줘야 되는 거야? 내성으로? 이렇게 해야 되는구나. 고의가 아닐 텐데. 그러면 박사가 이렇게 되네요. 저는 사고로 결론하겠습니다. 결론을 내릴게요. 사고로.
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me? Come on, wake up.
근데 생각해보니까 어머니 일어설 수 있었으면서 그 힘도 좋으시면서 휠체어는 왜 탄 거야?
Sherry,
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
you couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
Otto Richter murdered my mother, and Mycroft covered it up. Whisked me away from this place, buried me in schoolwork, and left the past to rot.
And you needed a way to cope, so I helped.
You were a lie, John, a fiction, a crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock,
What?
are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
I think, in his own way, he was trying to protect me. A truth I couldn't bear. But now I must face it.
셜록이 각성한 건가? 이제 더 이상 존은 없어졌네요. 뭐야, 왜?
Sherlock,
안 돼, 형한테 그러지 마.
What are you
형한테
doing?
그러지 마.
You kept me in the dark and kept your actions quiet. You enabled Richter and his untested quackery for far too long. And worse, you wanted to lock up our mother.
I wanted to give you a chance at normalcy, childhood. There was no changing what happened, no good to come of dwelling in the past.
It was lies upon lies. Otto Richter was trying to save her, but you decided he deserved to take the fall. Is that justice?
The big picture, Sherlock. The big picture. Perhaps Richter was not responsible for her fit of rage, but his treatment led inexorably to that moment.
근데 또 이렇게 얘기하니까 형의 마음도 이해가 됩니다.
You were so fragile. I could not. I just couldn't. I chose us over him.
그래요, 형의 마음도 좀 이해해야죠.
For once, I believe you. And perhaps now that the truth is out, I can actually do what you had hoped. Leave it all in the past.
Good. You have your whole life ahead of you, Sherlock. It is time you got on with it.
이제 어머니의 이런 사건도 이제 알게 됐으니까 이제 각성을 할 것 같아요, 셜록이.
I was worried there for a minute, Sherry. Really worried. I didn't want to hurt you. What's so funny?
I am talking to myself, John. I think I was hurt regardless.
But we made a good team, eh? Explored every inch of this place together. Helped a lot of people. Terrorized a few too, I suppose. I think I may go so far as to say, Sherry, that I have not lived wholly in vain.
So that's it. It's over.
You've opened every door, Sherry. Faced the past you locked away. You don't need me anymore.
I know. I will miss you all the same. I don't want you to go.
Yes, you do.
Goodbye, John.
또 이렇게 보니까 또 재밌네요. 또 스토리도. 아, 이제 슬슬 엔딩인 것 같은데요. 어머니 묘까지 왔네요. 왠지 셜록이 많이 지쳐 보이네. 다시 떠나는 건가? 이곳을 떠나서 살려나 보네. 뒤에 보겔 왔다, 보겔.
Why are you here? Closure, I suppose. And to help a friend.
You and I are not friends. In a race between the thawing of the ice caps and our friendship, I would buy a boat.
Ha! Is that right?
I can see it now. I know what you did.
What did I do?
You needled me. From the moment we met, you were searching for weakness. You pushed me to pursue the truth about my mother. You questioned everything I did, everything I believed, to break me. To blur truth and fiction, reality, morality. A saboteur in silk. Was it vengeance, Vernon? Or do you prefer Klaus?
Excuse me?
You are Klaus Richter, Otto's younger brother.
아, 그 의사의
All been responsible for his
동생이었어요.
end.
Ha!
그걸
There was
어떻게
no
알았대?
love lost between me and my brother. I am sure you can relate. Otto was merely the gravity that pulled me into your orbit. Or you into mine. Once I met you, I could not keep away.
Why? What reason do you have for all this?
To help you.
You're lying.
To show you that you were wrong.
More lies. I know you now, Werner. Try again.
To see what had happened. Or is that yet another untruth? Does it matter? Take your pick. Who cares? You're my masterpiece. I turned Sisyphus into Ozymandias. You could not see the futility of your quest until I helped you to let go of the rock. And now, nothing beside remains.
I remain. Despite you and to spite you.
It is a matter of will and power now. Will you overcome this, or shall you decay? Oh, on that note, I brought you something.
I want nothing more from you.
When one wants for nothing, Sherlock, the best thing to get them is something personal. So, here you are. Now, please excuse me, but the gallery calls. I'm already conceiving my next project.
첫 만남에서도 그림 줬는데 지금도 그림 좋네요. 잘 그렸다고 칭찬해줘라, 알았지? 이번에는 아니다.
You really are beautiful.
이거 칭찬 안 해줘도 되겠다, 이거는.
My brother returned to London soon after our disagreement. He enrolled at Cambridge University but attends only the rare classes that hold his interest. I hear he took employment at a hospital laboratory, obsessing over his experiments. I suppose he seeks solace in the empirical truth of a chemical test. I am afraid for him. His evenings are spent alone, solving citizens' menial mysteries to pass the time. And I suspect he is growing paranoid. One of my agent's vehicles recently ignited during a surveillance operation. She was lucky to get out alive. There is only one man who could orchestrate such a feat. Or perhaps two. I saved my brother. He will never forgive me.
아, 셜록 형의 나레이션이었네요. 자, 뭐 하는 거야? 누가 오고 있어? 뭐 하는 거야?
I found it! I found it! I found it!
And what is that?
누구지? 응? 왜 눈물 흘려? 왜 그러는 거야? 셜록 왜 그래?
how far, bruises may be produced after death. How are you? You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive.
How on earth did you know that?
Never mind. The question now is about bruising. No doubt you see the significance of this discovery of mine.
It is interesting, no doubt, but practically...
Why, it is the most practical medico-legal discovery for years. Had we these data sooner, hundreds of men would have paid the penalty for their crimes. Cases oft hinge upon how a man died. Now, we can know which wounds he suffered alive, which occurred post-mortem, and what instrument was responsible. And ergo, one will soon be able to calculate with utmost precision when and where death occurred, sparing the innocent and damning the guilty.
Well, then you are to be congratulated.
Indeed. But, you came here on business.
Correct again. I am looking for someone with whom to take diggings, and heard you were complaining that you could get no one to go halves with you.
I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong tobacco, I hope?
I smoke ships myself.
That's
왓슨 아니야, 왓슨?
I get in the dumps at times.
왓슨은 이제 만난 것
open my mouth
같은데요?
for days on end. Just let me alone, and I'll soon be right. What have you to confess now? It's best for two fellows to know what bruises each other carries before they begin to live together. My last companion and I...
Well, I object to rows because my nerves are shaken, and I get up at all sorts of ungodly hours, and I am extremely lazy. I have another set of vices when I'm well, but those are the principal ones at present.
Do you include violin playing in your category for rouse?
It depends on the player. A well-played violin is a treat for the gods. A badly played one.
Oh, no, that's all right. I think we may consider the thing as settled. Oh, forgive my manners. My attention wavers. Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. John Watson.
John.
그렇게 그 둘은 소설에서 둘도 없는 콤비가 되죠. 아, 이제 끝났네요. 잘 봤습니다. 그리고 재미나게 즐겼고요. 이거 이외에도 굉장히 많은 그 서브 미션들이 있어요. 그것도 이제 직접 구매하셔서 해보시면 재밌을 겁니다. 제가 지금 한 거는 이제 메인 퀘스트만 한 거고요. 서브 미션도 굉장히 많으니까 즐기실 분들은 구매하셔도 좋을 것 같습니다. 자, 여기까지 하고요. 저는 샤큐였습니다. 샤빠.